As far back as she could remember, Lauren Opal Boebert hated the government in all its forms. She hated the shackles of the public school system, forcing their secular ideology and bogus foundational democratic principles that were not outlined or formulated in a variety of texts written thousands of years ago. Over the course of a number of minutes, she researched those secret texts and discovered the solution to freeing herself from the burdens of education and government indoctrination. She became fruitful and multiplied. She chose to cast off the barriers of intellectual brainwashing and deviously accepted assistance of godless money to begin bringing the government down. To further her knowledge and education, she gravitated to where real Merica receives their information, daytime TV. Specifically, The Bold and the Beautiful and The Jerry Springer Show, honing her wits sharply to that of a bowling ball. She knew her road ahead would be arduous if she would alter the government and make Merica her Merica. She would be damned if she would recognize godless territories like Alaska and Hawaii as part of her Merica. After rising to the highest level of the cornerstone of capitalism, an assistant manager at McDonald's, Lauren knew she could do more. After helping others lay pipe, she opened the aptly named Shooter's Grill in the aptly named Rifle, Colorado, where customers were encouraged to display their God-given right to display their weaponry and receive a free beer if they could prove they winged an illegal alien. The godless government would try to stop her efforts when she gave dozens explosive diarrhea. They would try to stop her, but you can't stop Lauren Opal Boebert. You can only hope to contain her, and you can't do that either. She's a proud woman, and she will let you know what she's proud of. She's proud of her work helping others lay pipe. She's proud of giving birth to 4 assault rifles and future Soldier of Fortune magazine subscribers. She's proud of her teenage son following in her footsteps and getting another teenager pregnant. She's proud of becoming the youngest and smokingest hot gamma to ever serve in the House of Representatives. She's proud of her husband's penis. So proud, in fact, that in a venue dedicated to the display of hundreds of phalluses, she encouraged him to display it to teenagers. The teenagers in management of the venue dedicated to phallic symbolism were so impressed they contacted the godless government authorities to impart their awe and wonder regarding his member. This would not be the only time Boebert would face godless government authorities as they tried to silence her. Her views would not be silenced. Her pride would not be silenced. Her talent, helping others to lay pipe, would not be silenced. To change the godless government, to force Americans not like her to adopt her paradigm, she would still have to prove her intellect. She was certainly up to the challenge of the most difficult hurdle of her life. She would have to meet the stringent requirements of the good enough diploma. On only her 4th attempt, she passed. She would have passed on her 1st attempt. However, the godless proctor would not accept Jesus is always the answer for the question regarding the length of the hypotenuse of a right triangle. She would seek office on a platform of requiring Americans to own guns, just like the godless government requires seatbelts in order to increase the number of shootings and murders throughout this great nation, because 15,000 dead is not nearly enough.
Do you know how many gun-violent deaths there are, gun-related deaths there are in America per year? 15,000. A drop in the bucket, I'd say. So, I left Rifle, Colorado. I'm not going into shooters right now. I'm going to Carbondale, and I'm going to see what these people really believe. If they know what they're marching for. If they know that they are marching against their rights. They are marching saying, hey, I have a right I don't want. Take it away from me. Get rid of this. I want the people around me to not be able to protect themselves, to not be able to defend me. I don't know, I'm driving here, and I think this is kind of similar to driving on speakerphone, so I guess I'm safe. But I was thinking, my government requires me to wear this. I have to wear this to protect myself. And I can't have my 9mm to protect myself? I don't think so. Not today. No.
After election to the House of Representatives, she called upon her experience providing Americans explosive diarrhea to regulate global food consumption.
Populace, if the citizenry in America is disarmed, then we are no longer citizens. We are subject. You know, here in America, we have gourmet treats for puppies. We have these amazing groomers for dogs. Well, in Venezuela, they eat the dogs. And it started because they don't have firearms. They do not have a way to protect themselves, to defend themselves against a tyrannical government. So
I think it's interesting. The gentlewoman, Miss Porter, just aligned this with grocery shopping and with the nutritional facts, because there's also issues there. Well, that's a government regulation to have these nutritional facts on the foods that we consume. Well, do you know that if we get beef from Brazil and it's packaged in America, well, you could put a sticker on that that says that its country of origin is America? Well, that's disinformation, because the cow was raised in Brazil and brought to America, but just put in a box or in a different box in America, and now we get to put that sticker on there.
Her experience of providing Americans the benefit of explosive diarrhea would translate into her ability to recognize terrorists and their accompanying death tools, and her ability and love for stand-up comedy.
Actually, I have an Ilhan story for you. So, the other night on the house floor was not my first Jihad Squad moment. So, I was getting into an elevator with one of my staffers, and he and I we're leaving the Capitol, we're going back to my office, and we get in the elevator, and I see a Capitol police officer running hurriedly to the elevator. I see threat all over his face, and he's reaching, and I'm like, what? I can't, the door's shutting, like, I can't open it, like, what's happening? I look to my left, and there she is, Ilhan Omar. And I said, well, she doesn't have a backpack, we should be fine. So we only had one floor to go, and I was like, do I say it or not? I looked over, and I said, oh, look, the Jihad Squad decided to show up for work today. Don't worry, it's just her staffers on Twitter that talk for her. She's not tough in person. She doesn't, yes. So, there's a little bit of interactions with these folks there.
One of Representative Boebert's overarching strengths is to recognize her own robustness and use those strengths to achieve victory at all costs, even going as far as taking advantage of an opponent's inabilities to ensure her foe is unable to draw a larger, more deadly firearm.
You know, Madison Cawthorn, he said that he would arm wrestle me for this Kyle Rittenhouse internship, but Madison Cawthorn has some pretty big guns, and so I would like to challenge him to a sprint instead. Let's make this fair.
She knows the sweet smells of explosive diarrhea and success. However, her greatest failure, and there are very few of these, is allowing her restaurant to now be run by a mariachi band and serve Mexican cuisine to only illegal aliens. Representative Boebert does have a soft spot for all Americans, except Alaska and Hawaii, of course. Screw those guys. But for all Americans in the contiguous 48, even going as far as directing constituents to the location of her colleagues so they can inquire about receiving a flag flown above the Capitol building. But they are not all colleagues. Representative Boebert has to go face-to-face with her most formidable rival, fashion icon and lover of all people of color, Marjorie Taylor Greene. The rivalry came in and two ahead on January 3rd, 2023, while Representative Greene, like she always does, was having dinner with her staff in one of the Capitol's restrooms. This audio clip, provided by Representative Gates, who in his spare time records audio of female representatives in the restroom, has never been released. Until now.
Jesus.
I was having dinner with two members of my staff.
The second coming. Jesus.
It's repulsive. But you.
a freaking joke.
You're a piece of shit. That is repulsive.
It's over.
You're a piece of shit.
Lauren Opal Boebert, please never not be unsilenced.
On Twitter, a lot of the little Twitter trolls, they like to say, oh, Jesus didn't need an AR-15. How many AR-15s do you think Jesus would have had? Well, he didn't have enough to keep his government from killing him. So,
I'm gonna have to look that one up. But it sounds interesting, and I don't think I want to be a part of it.
Never. Perfectly Obvlious, coming soon to a bookstore or a satanic device to allow you to listen to or read on your Beelzebub created screen.